Okay, we're back.
A little bit glitchy commercial break.
Yeah, commercial break.
So I was saying that good thing the reporter had the picture of the guys, so he followed all the protocol direct procedures that the lawyer or the victim claimed that he never received.
Mm,
So that's actually covered him. If not, it's considered negligence. It's not real malpractice. So if you do malpractice, and the insurance will cover for you anyway. But negligence, I don't think the insurance will cover anything. So basically, the guys will be can be sued for personal injuries, and the city will be okay. It's not our problems. So yeah, we have to be smart. We have to be protecting ourselves. We have to document a lot of things. On our workplace, the documentation is different,
different.
really different, because it's not the notes that we write. But back then, when I was doing nursing home, I documented what the patient said, especially what they say is real important, like what you mentioned, Robert.
Yeah.
But it's give a clue because why? People will read the information. Communication is the key. I know communication is a major issue within the clinic, between clinics, between hospital and clinics. And right now, communication with friends is also a problem. Um, no, really, because if you treat a patient and you know you're sharing patient with other different doctors or different acupuncturists, and you know you're not there every single day, you need to make sure that okay, you have a clear understanding, clear communications that what happened or what needs to be done. If the patients come to you for back pain and next 2 days they come for neck pain, but you don't document the patients want to treat neck and you treat back, what happened? The patient's upset. What's going on? Nobody focus on my neck. What the hell happened? That's professionalism is not there. So what you guys out there thinking? What should we include? I know we talk a lot, but those are based on our experience.
Mm.
So that's me. This must be some people out there have also different experience that I'd like to share. This way we can compile all those valuable informations. I mentioned like certain red flags with medications, suicidal thoughts, how to protect yourself. But in practicing there's other things I just don't remember to include. Or maybe you had to subscribe to our podcast to find the hidden message.
I've heard a lot of horror stories about nursing homes. One of
Oh,
the things that's very one of the things that's very difficult for an acupuncturist is finding a job within let's say a hospital setting to start with. Because even back in my day, we were a person who was really frowned upon in working in a clinical, especially a hospital setting. Generally speaking, we would only be accepted in a no fault setting.
oh,
Anything else outside of that, well, anything outside of having our own clinic, that's pretty much all we were limited to. Now, here's a question for you. Did you get into the nursing home as an acupuncturist?
yeah.
Okay. So they actually hired you as an acupuncturist.
Uh, it's more like through agency.
Okay. It was with your license
Yeah.
and your degree that you were able to get that
Yeah,
job.
I had to submit credentials, approval, background checks before I could get in.
There's
So,
more options today for acupuncturists to find jobs than there were 20 years ago. As I had mentioned, 20 years ago, you just had no fault and you had your own clinic. That was pretty much it. They started, I believe, in Flushing here in New York. They had a type of intern specifically for acupuncturists to work in the hospital, but it never really went anywhere. It never progressed to the point. Plus, there was a lot of stuff that they needed to do. There was a lot of requirements that needed to be done.
mhm.
And generally speaking, not a lot of people would have been able
Has
to
had
make
to
it.
be approved by the states. Yeah.
You
See, a lot of people think, oh, this is a great idea. Yeah, it's a great idea, but you forget Acupuncturists in New York, we're not that strong. So I'm hoping that soon, near the future, that we all can gather together to become a stronger organizations and stronger professions. It's not that easy because even right now, the hospital have a lot of information about acupuncture. The job, something they have it is, but to me, it's mostly research. It's not a permanent job. To me, once the research is done, you don't need anymore. It's like good temporary. But if people out there, other acupuncturists out there, can tell us if there's really jobs in the hospital that they have acupuncture departments, please let us know.
Yeah.
But to me, still, they said it, yes, it's good, 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 but do they really mean it? No. Why? Because our organization is not even that strong. There's still a lot doctors don't like acupuncture because we kind of cutting their pie. We try to eat the crumbs, but they don't want to share the crumbs. But I want to work with the doctors to integrate it, to treat the patient better, actually. I don't want them to think that, okay, my treatment is better. Don't take medications. Some medication you have to take. But how about this? We can ease your symptoms,
Hmm.
the side effects. We want to work together. No, this is modern society. There's no such thing that ancient techniques is better than modern techniques. Modern medicine is better than ancient medicines. No, they are medicines. Why we cannot just make in a whole, like the yin and yang? This way we could be harmonized together. Oh, we're sidetracking now.
Well, no, I think this is a very good thing in talking about clinical practice because this question really doesn't come up within a student clinic. We're sitting there, at a table learning how to take the intake, take the intake with the patient. But within your own clinic, you're going to have someone who's never had acupuncture before come to you and say, how does this work? How will this work for me? Will I see any improvement? I'm on this medication. Is there anything that you can do to help me at least decrease it? There are some people who are afraid of taking statins for their cholesterol. Some people would like to see some other types of herbs or something so that they can start to reduce it. Some people, because there are side effects to it. And then you have chronic pain. We have a very big problem with opioids and whatnot that are going out that are just, they're used for masking the pain, but they're not really doing anything about it. Yes, there are people who also abuse that, but they're an entirely different story altogether.
Mhm.
And as you mentioned, it's part of working together with other practitioners. Back pain, acupuncture, massage therapist, chiropractor, you know, leg pain, yeah, acupuncturist, physical therapy, maybe massage. It depends on what the problem is specifically. And orthopedic. Talk to somebody, especially if it's like there's something wrong with the knee.
Mhm.
You'll find that the recovery time will be so much faster with a
People.
group of people as opposed to just one or two. Of course, this all leads to another problem, and that's with insurance. That also falls into category with what we're talking about because in the student clinic, we never took insurance. Everything was all cash. It was
Mm.
a reduced price because it was student clinic. But I remember while I was learning how to run the front desk, I would get phone calls of people saying, "Do you take my insurance?" No. But if you wanted to see the actual doctor, well, excuse me, the actual licensed acupuncturist who was there,
Like, yeah.
a couple of them took insurance, but the others didn't. It depends whether or not they would allow you to. We had to leave it open. Yes, some people didn't like going to the student clinic, but they did it because it was affordable. Now, once you get to your own clinic, yes, you can start taking insurance, but that in itself is just as hard as trying to find a job. There's a lot of that hand holding again in keeping the patient's records confidential because nowadays you're sending out that information electronically. But 20 years ago, some people did it, other people mailed it in, which is also anybody could just open up the mail and look at your, social security number and your benefits. And right there is identity theft.
Mm,
I've seen a couple of times with even people I've had at work. They mailed out a check, $1,000 check to a company to pay their bill. But somehow or another, once they mailed it, opened it up, took the check out, erased who it was from, wrote somebody else's name in, and deposited it. Nowadays, it's easier to track that stuff because you can look online, you can see the actual check and what happened with it. You can report it back, very quickly. But again, back in the day, if you didn't have the technology like we did today, it could take weeks,
yeah.
even a month before you found out about it. And you'd never know that, somebody took all this money out. You would just say, oh, money got taken out. They must have gotten it. And then if you just never asked them if they had it, or, just in passing a few months later, oh, did you get the $1,000 check? Nope, never got it. Now all of a sudden it's like, well, what happened to it? At that point, who knows? And also, I don't think you could do anything about it either. There's a lot of different things that I would say is easier today. The only thing that I find that isn't enough is probably the malpractice insurance. One of the things that I've noticed more recently is there's a lot of people suing, but they're not suing for $1 million, $3 million, which is what our acupuncture
Mhm.
insurance covers. They're going for 50, $75 million, which seems astronomical, and you just can't cover that. There's really maybe that I can think of two or three carriers for acupuncture insurance that I know of. And many of them, they would just rather arbitrate than you having a straight out 1 million, 3 million insurance. Some states like Florida, they require it. Not the arbitration, the actual 1
Yeah.
million, 3 million. It's part of their license. You must.
In nursing homes or hospital setting, that's you have to have, and certain insurance, you have to have that much.
Yeah.
If you only couple 100K or 500K, they're not going to take it. You're not
No.
going to get approved. Yeah.
Well, again, I hear a lot of horror stories about nursing homes and things that happen there, mistreatment to the patients,
Yeah.
negligence, malpractice, ignorance, among other things.
You
And
know,
I really don't see it improving anytime either. People do it,
nursing
as you
home
said, for money.
doesn't improve. They improve, they lose money. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see a lot of things happening in nursing homes, but that will be next time.
yeah.
Interesting things, scary things, and smelly things. Look, the problem is our profession is not that easy.
No.
And people think I get my license, I can be my own boss. I can make a lot of money. I'm sorry. Reality is not like that. And you really have to build up your own practice. If not your own practice, you have to build up your reputations, your the as a good workers, and you still stay employed. To me, no matter your own practice or not, like I mentioned before, if you treat a patient, you have to make sure 100% the patient's safety and well-being. Because when you build in connections, people can sense you that you're being genuine, not fake. They know that you listen to them. A lot of patients they just want people to listen. It's not so much the pain, it's the stress that give them the pain. Uh, Sometimes we spend like 5 to 10 minutes just to listen to them, give them advices. Heck, it also relieves my own stress by talking to them. My work is not always that great. There's a lot of things that I need to take care of. I wear many hats.
Mm.
Just like in the past when I worked for the school, I wear many hats. Yeah, if you want people to treat you nicely, you treat people nicely too. It's just kind of you get back in return in one way or the another.
So, as a recommendation, once you're done with student clinic, don't just flat out go and open up a clinic. Go work someplace first, a year, 2 years.
Yeah.
If you can work with another acupuncturist, and again, nowadays you can look on Indeed and you can find several acupuncturist jobs within 15 miles. It's not hard, and yeah, swallow your pride. I know you think you know everything after you get out of college and you get your degree and your license, but the one hardest thing that I couldn't do after I got out was run a business. And that's one thing that you should keep your eye on while you're working, elsewhere, is to see how the business runs and how they run it. If you work for another acupuncturist, try to get them to mentor you, ask them questions. How did you start the business? Are you
Wait. That
what?
you the best thing is to play it safe first because beginning as a person who asks too many things, you know what? I can fire him. Why? It's a try to steal the company. Don't ask it. No, beginning. It's nice to ask questions, but
You don't want to dump it on them. Yes,
yeah,
true.
because that person might report to the boss, hey, this person asked me the weird things. He should not be asking these things.
Mm,
It's just that you have to build a relationship first.
well, yes.
You could ask once you develop relationships, you could ask. Because to me, I'm a very careful person. A lot of people's the thing is, I look at it. If I'm the owner, and I find out, hey, this worker has been asking a lot of things about my practice. I get a little bit more red flag of this guy. Did he try
Well,
to sabotage the business or he tried to steal my business? Yeah, you know what I mean?
okay, so to be fair, um, yes, I see your point of view on it, but there are other people who would, one, flat out not tell them at all, and two, actually, be helpful. They would ask, why are you asking so many questions? They say, I want to learn how to do this myself one day. And from there, you can make the decision. Either you can help them or you don't. It's that simple. My general point to this was just to
Uh,
at least watch first. Watch
yes.
and see
No.
what's going on. Yes, if you want to or something you don't understand, you can ask questions. But there's going to be a lot of things that you don't know at first. That's unless you've actually run your own business. That's a whole different story in itself. Once you get to that point where you think you'll be comfortable and try to open it, even then it's still going to be tough.
Because you have to reserve, I think what the rule is 2 or 3 years of income to sustain a business land base, or they
What
changed the amounts now.
Yeah, they've changed the
The rent.
amount. You
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
from someone who I've heard of recently, who's in the financial area, they said you would need close to $100,000 capital just to start a business. $50,000, sure, but it depends on what area you are. If we're talking about some of the major cities, New York, Florida,
yeah.
California, Texas, Connecticut, places where it's very, very expensive, there's no way you're going to be able to do it with $50,000. That's $100,000 is minimum, because the amount that you need for rent, for utilities, for equipment, it's a lot more than what you think it is. A lot more,
Mhm.
especially if you're going to furnish it. Yeah, you'll go to IKEA, but even IKEA furniture can get expensive.
Oh, especially nowadays, everything's went up now.
And the one thing which I have to stress is you need to pay yourself as well. There's a lot of people who work for a loss the first 2 years, but you got to remember you got to eat too, or your business is going to go absolutely nowhere with you sickly. Now, is there a alternative? If you work with insurance, you can do house calls. I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast before, but depending on what insurance company it is, you can do house calls to people. And this will save on a lot of rent. Of course, there's other fees. Now you have to worry about vehicle fees, gas, maintenance, having a vehicle, you know, all those things in the end will also add up. It'll probably be a lot less than rent, but you would still need some type of base of operations. You still have to list where your business is.
Mhm.
Most people list their home, and that in itself could also lead to problems.
Yeah, you
So
have to pay taxes
you
too.
have to weigh the pros and cons of everything. You know,
Yeah,
was this person trying to take over my business?
yeah. I'm like, what? No, because the thing is, I had that experience.
Okay.
This worker is brand new. I'm like, wow. One, you don't know me. And how should I know you're not my boss relatives or try to test me out to see if I give out like certain informations. I just like to be careful until like you said, observe first, build up
Yes.
relationships. No, a lot of people a company hire you is to try to keep you in known terms. They don't want to hire you as a temporary. It's just more headaches for them to hire a lot of persons. So like long-term relationships, I just thinking as a company point of view. Yes, school settings, work setting. Good thing you mentioned about home setting. Back
Yeah.
then, not many insurance allow you to do home set.
Correct. Yeah, this is another recent thing
Yeah.
too.
See, if people out there, please share the informations. The reason we had this podcast is to share the wealth, actually the knowledge. No, it's just fun. When we talk, we share informations. Certain things I know, certain things I don't know. The world is changing a lot. Acupuncture is kind of changing too. Like I said, there's a lot of hospital there, including acupuncture informations and some treatments, but most likely is like research first. You're under the medical doctors. There's VA treatments I never experienced
Mm.
in the VA departments. I don't want to because that is part of like military settings. There's a lot of rule and regulations you have to follow. You can get in big trouble with just some things you don't follow orders.
Yeah,
I don't know yet, so but they pay very little too. So I think that's
that was
it.
a lot.
So next time what we're going to talk about.
Like I said, we can talk about infertility. We can
See, the
talk
thing
about
is, I'm
chronic
not comfortable
pain.
with infertility. I don't treat.
Oh, okay.
Have you had any infertility patients?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I've
oh,
had quite a bit actually.
oh, that's great. It's probably because acupuncturists.
Well,
I
that's the
did
thing.
treat. I'm sorry. I should not say I didn't treat anyone, but I did treat it, and we do acupressure. But the problem is, I think the person stopped doing the treatments and do IVF again, and it's successful. But I cannot say 100% that the acupuncture helps. It's not enough information available.
I've had many patients in regards to miscarriages, IVF. I've even done acupuncture on people who have been pregnant. There are safe points,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, with two release.
the treatment, however, is not just acupuncture, it's herbs. And the herbs work wonderfully for infertility, whether it's, menses is irregular
Mhm.
or they have a chronic history of miscarriage. There are a lot of processes and herb formulas that they can use to help with that. I better do my outro because I only got a minute left.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Thank you for listening. Hope to see you soon.
Okay. Goodbye now. Bye.